Okay, so this should be what you have written down on your paper. What we talked about yesterday was your first step. We already did first step. Well, the first step is a graph, which is a goofy first step. We take a look at this number right here is 2. And so that's where we draw our dotted line. Okay, that's just there for a guideline to remind you that when you're drawing your line, don't cross the dotted line. We pick this 2, goes in both of the tables because that number is in both of those equations. And then we have to pick a number that's less than 2 to go in here. So we picked 0. We have to pick a number that's more than 2 to go in this one. And so we picked 3. We also know we said less than is left. Less than 2 would be to the left. So we know what this line's going to go left. This line's going to go to the right. Now, your next step is to calculate what the y is that goes with this x. So you're plugging 2 into this x value. You're getting those y's. I think I asked you to do that. And then you could put your calculator away. I said that yesterday. So if this x is 2 and 2x minus 3, what's the y value? 1, correct? You guys, this is why we always use 0, the next one. If you put a 0 in there, what do you get? No, we got a minus the 3, so you get negative 3. 0 minus 3. Now, this was a nice, easy equation to plug into. If x is 2, what is the y? 3. And if x is 3, what is y? 4. Okay, we're almost ready to graph. I told you it takes lots less time than it does to write about it. Now, in 2x plus 3, is this 2 an open circle or a closed circle? Whoop, it's open. And we know that because it does not have the line underneath it. Okay, so this one's going to be closed because it has the line. So in 2x plus 3, this is going to be an open circle. And then this guy in x plus 1, this is an equal to, so this guy is going to be a closed circle. Okay, now I think the most important thing when you're doing this is to make sure that you don't throw four things on there, 4 dots. Do 2 dots in a line and then 2 dots in your other line. Okay, don't put all the 4 dots because you'll be confused. So 2, 1 is an open circle. So put an open circle at the point 2, 1. And then you have the point 0, negative 3. Now, somebody from 7th hour asked me this question yesterday, and it was a good question. 0, negative 3 is closed. So the only open one is this one. And that's true every time. There's only potentially one open circle. Okay, so everybody else is...
It's your first one?
It's the one that matches this number, right? So that's why it's not the 0. It matches this guy, and it's open because that's not equal to. So that's the only one. Everybody else is a solid dot. Okay, so 0, negative 3. There's your 0, negative 3. We're going to draw this line. It goes to the left. So, draw your line. Okay, now you do the other one. 2, 3, that's a closed dot. So 2, 3, also on the line. So you're always going to have one open, one closed on the line. And then you've got 3, 4, which is next door. Also closed because there's only ever going to be one open. And then draw your line. This one goes to the right of the dotted line. So it's important. It's weird because you're not drawing the graph all the way through. You're drawing him up to the dotted line, and then he's splitting. Okay. One to the right, one to the left. Okay, let's do one more. And then we'll go back to function notation, and I will give you homework time. So let's say f of x is equal to, I'll give you some nice graphs here. So let's go x minus 4 if x is less than negative 1. And 2x plus 1 if x is greater than or equal to -1. Okay, so first thing, you're going to put a dotted line where this splits from one equation, where it jumps from the top to the bottom. So when you look at your equation over here, what number is where we jump from top equation to bottom equation? Not 4. -1. I heard the -1. Somebody said it. Because if it's less than -1, I use the top. If it's greater than -1, I use the bottom. So -1 is where we would jump from one line to the other. Okay, now, things less than -1, that's to the left of this. So I'm just going to write left over here. And things that are greater than -1 are going to go to the right. Again, you don't have to write that down. It's just to remind us that when we graph, those are the dots I'm going to the left. Those are the dots I'm going to the right. Okay. Next thing, you got to make a table for x minus 4 and a table for 2x plus 1. You need to go to the reception, go to the office, because you're sick. One or the other, because you cannot sleep and stuff. Got it? Okay, I'm just gonna cut out this. Okay, so you have to have this dotted line number has to be in both of those tables. Okay, so that's why we had a 2 in both of those. In our other one, we had the same number. So you have to have -1 in both of those tables. Okay, it's not an option. Okay, now, x minus 4. We need x's that are less than -1. So what is an x that is less than -1? -2. There you go. So let's use -2. This one, in 2x plus 1, we need an x that is more than -1.
0.
Great. Okay, go ahead and find those y values a second. Oh, and when you plug in -1 to the first one, what'd you get? Nope. Okay, so if you plug in -1 in here, it's -1 minus 4. It would be -5, right? -5. If you plug in -2 for that one, what do you get? Okay. Okay. Over here, we're going to plug in -1. So 2 times -1 plus 1, what is that? -1. And when you plug in 0, what do you get? positive 1. Guys, I always use 0 if I can. Like, I can't use it on this one because 0 is not less than negative 1. But if I can use 0, I use 0 because it's easy math. Okay, now, this guy, this is the top equation. Is the 1 going to be open or closed? The negative 1, open or closed? Open circle. This is my only open circle. Everybody else is closed. Okay, I'm not going to write down closed on the other one. They're all closed. Okay, so let's graph this. Negative 1, negative 5. Open circle. Negative 2, negative 6 is next door, is a closed circle. Okay, remember this guy goes to the left. Don't cross the line. It's just weird because we are not drawing all of the line. Just don't cross the line. That's why I draw the dotted line there. Okay, this guy, negative 1, negative 1. Up here, that's a closed circle because they're all closed except the one that's open. And then 0, positive 1. And then all of these guys go to the right. So here, from the dotted line to the right.
You did 1, 1.
Dang it! Good catch. Let's try that again. 0, 1 would be here. So not the blue line. This line. There you go. Good catch.
Good job.
Okay, so again, that is extra credit on the test. So listen, even if you're like, well, I can make the table, but I struggle with the graph, make the table. You'll get partial points on your extra credit. Okay, if you're like, hey, I know that I have to draw a dotted line there, that's worth a little bit of something. Okay, so even if it's not all of it, if you have some of it right, you'll get partial credit on your extra credit. Okay, so we're going to do, well, I think we're going to do 2 examples of the other thing. So you can either turn this over or you can do it in yesterday's notes. It's up to you. Let's do... We're going to go back to function notation. So we're not graphing this. Okay. So I want you to write that down. So we're going to talk about 2 things. Okay, specifically, we're going to talk about 2 things that might throw you off a little bit, but that's why I want to talk to you about it. And then we're going to also talk about how I want you to show your work, because if you don't show your work the way I want you to show your work on the homework, I will not give you credit for it. Okay, that's what it comes down to. So I would like you to find, whoops, not F, is it? Oh, I'll wait. You guys are probably still writing. I want you to find G of negative 10 for me, please. G of negative 10. Okay, now, are you using top, middle, or bottom for this guy? You are using the top because just in case you want to, like, here's why. If you're checking this, negative 10 is less than negative 4. The alligator has to eat the bigger number. Points at the small number, eats the big one. So when you show your work, you have to show that you plugged it in. Okay, 2 reasons. I want to make sure you're doing it right. And I also want to make sure that if you decide you're going to copy off somebody, you got a lot to write. What is negative 10 plus 7? Negative 3. Negative 3. Negative 10 plus 7. So one thing I want you to remember is you don't add things and make them negative. It's literally a negative 10 with 7 more. So that's only a negative 3. Let's do G of 12. G of 12. Top, middle, or bottom on G of 12? Bottom, correct? If you check that, 12 is greater than 3, the alligator eats the big one. So you got to show me 2 times 12 plus 5. You do not have to show me the in-between steps, but I need to see this so that when I check, I can tell if you're plugging it into the right place, because that will help me help you. If you're doing it wrong, I'll be able to tell what you're doing wrong. What do you get? 29. Okay, now let's pause a second before I give you the next one. Do you remember what it means to square something? You times it by itself. So let's just do a couple unrelated. What is 5 squared? Not 10. 25, because it's 5 times 5. 5 times 5. How about, let's go 1 squared. Yeah, this 1 times 1. Okay, how about negative 10 squared? Is it positive 100 or is it negative 100? Correct. This is negative 10 times negative 10, which is positive 100. Now, what I want you to do is put negative 10 squared into your calculator a second. Negative 10 squared. Okay, what does it tell you? Depending on how you put it into your calculator, it could give you negative 100. Okay, so here's my question. If you do negative 10 squared, by the way, you know there's a squared button over there on the left-hand side, right? It's right there. Okay. So do you trust what you know, that negative 10 times negative 10 is a positive, or do you trust your calculator because your calculator is smart?
I trust what I know.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Your calculator is only as smart as what you put into it. Okay, so let me tell you what your calculator does. Because your calculator is a machine and it's programmed, it has to follow order of operations. So remember PEMDAS. Okay, what's the P stand for? Parentheses. What's the E stand for? Exponent. That too is an exponent. So your calculator, the first thing it will do is it will say, I have to do that squared. And it will say, what's next to that squared? It's a 10. It doesn't read that negative as being attached to it. It goes 10 squared, and then it says, I'll take care of the negative last. Okay, so that's why your calculator is telling you that it is negative 100. It's squaring a 10. It's not squaring a negative 10. If you wanted to square a negative number, you have to put in parentheses so that you keep the negative with the 10, and then you square it. Okay, or you could just use your brain and go, I know this is going to be positive, and just go 10 squared. That's okay too. Okay, or you could just use your brain and go 10 times 10 is 100. But if I asked you like for negative 15 squared and you didn't know that one, then you would need to put parentheses in your calculator. Okay, so now that you know that, or you reviewed that, why don't you find G of 3 and G of negative 2, please. G of 3 and G of negative 2. absolutely can do that.
Yeah.
So remember what we talked about yesterday, it's the middle, because the x is in between there. Right, and also this is equal. Awesome.
What was that? What did this one?
Okay, top, middle, or bottom? Middle. So remember we talked yesterday about that this literally means that your x has to be between those two numbers. This guy is equal to 3 though, so use this guy. G of 3 would be 3 squared when you show me your work, which is what? 9. Okay. What's G of negative 2? 4. Use the middle again because negative 2 is in between negative 4 and 3. So negative 2 squared is a positive 4. Okay, now one more example with one more weird thing, and then I'll give you some homework time. Dang it. Thank you. Let's go x is less than 0. We'll just go 2 of them on this one. Okay, so I'd like you to find h of negative 3 and h of negative 10, please. H of negative 3 and h of negative 10. H of negative 3, top or bottom? Top. Correct, because negative 3 is less than 0. So we're doing 4 times negative 3 plus 1. What is that? Negative 11. Just make sure you plus 1. So it's negative 12 and then 1 more than that. So negative 11. Okay, top or bottom on this guy? Top. So we're using 4 times negative 10 and then add 1 to that. What did you get? Negative 39. Okay, now, what if I ask you for h of 3? What seems to be the problem with that? There's no x, right? That's weird. There's no x. This is actually the easiest one. No, there's no, do you see a plus? It's just 5. The answer's already there for you because that's what this says. H of x is 5 if the x is larger than 0. So h of 3 is 5. There's no work to show even. It's just 5. What would be then h of 12? 5. 5 because it's 5. Okay. How about h of 0? 5 because 0 is equal to, right? So we use the bottom one. It's 5. Okay. How about h of 120? 5. So if it's just a number, and you're like, wait a second, there's no x. Right, because I just gave you the answer. Like I took away the work for you. It's just 5. Okay. That's all. If you really want to know what it looks like, it's a horizontal line. The x's are different things, but the y always stays the same. Just a horizontal line. Okay. What are your questions that you have for me? Okay. Couple of things before I give you your homework. I forgot to do this earlier. I need you to get your